And now, can I invite Taylor and Brigitte to sing a song called Deep River, a song that speaks of the enduring quest for freedom and peace.
Hope is the thing with feathers that perches in the soul and sings the tune without the words and never stops at all, and sweetest in the gale that is heard. And soul must be a storm that could have bashed the little bird that kept so many warm. I've heard it in the chillest land and on the strangest sea, and yet, in extremity, it asked a crumb of me.
This is the service of hope and peace and compassion and justice, but right now it feels as though these things are in short supply, especially if you are a Palestinian.
Palestinian writers don't have a voice at the moment, and they're often silenced, so it's the voices of Palestinian writers that we will be focusing on today.
Hossan Madoun is the co-founder of Gaza's Theatre for Everybody. Due to the dire conditions in Gaza, productions are rare these days. Instead, he and his partner, Jamal Al-Rossi, have dedicated their energies to drama and to other types of therapy programs for traumatized children.
Since the third day of the war, Hossam has been writing a diary detailing the experiences of himself, his disabled mother, his struggles to look after her, and his wife. As we speak now, he's trying to make a journey to reunite himself with his wife. She's in Wazirat refugee camp, was under threat to vomit. He's been in Rafat, and he's trying to make that journey today. But this is from earlier on, about a month ago. Why do I write? For 2 days I write nothing. I don't know why. Maybe I do. I don't feel like doing it. It doesn't help. It doesn't change anything. Waste of time with thinking, exposing my feelings, my pain, my emotion, my privacy, my tears. Why? What for? Whatever we do, nothing changes. Whatever we don't do, nothing changes. The killing machine continues chasing us wherever we go. No place to go, no way to escape. Just sit and wait your turn to be slaughtered. Every day we learn about someone we know who was killed in bed, killed walking in the streets, killed taking a shower in the bathroom, killed while cooking for her family, killed while playing at home or in the street. But I know that I'm not writing to change something. I'm not writing to change anything. I am writing for myself. I am writing because I am still alive. I'm writing because it makes me feel alive. I will write until I close my eyes for the last time, or until I won't be able to write for some other reason. I will keep writing.
Mossab Abu Tuah is a poet, a short story writer, an essayist, and the founder of the Exerpts Library in Gaza.
His debut book of poetry, Things You May Find Hidden in My Ear, won the Palestine Book Award, was also a finalist for the National Book Critics Circle Award and the Walcott Poetry Prize. Mossab was separated from his family at the border whilst trying to leave Gaza with his young family and arrested by the IDF. He was stripped naked and blindfolded. He was beaten. He was released, probably due to international pressure. He is brave enough to continue to tell his story and that of the genocide.
And Mossab is my friend on Facebook, looking for Palestine. The sun rises and moves around. It sets to visit other places. And we are looking for Palestine. The birds wake up and look for food. They chirp on the blossoming trees laden with fruit, with peaches and apples, apricots and oranges. And we are looking for Palestine. The sea waves lap against the shore. It glitters and dances with the fishers' boats. And we are looking for Palestine. People travel to relatives and friends. They book round-trip tickets. They stuff their suitcases with gifts and books and clothes. And we are still looking for Palestine.
Back to Hossam's diary. This is from November the 1st. Sounds. I lie down on the mattress, complete darkness but for the slight light of a poor small candle. Close my eyes, hoping to fall asleep, but it doesn't work. 2 days and nights, not a single minute of sleep. It's amazing how human senses become stronger and more sensitive when you lose one of them. This is what happens to me while closing my eyes. During the day, lots of noise, lots of sounds, mixed sounds of people chatting, shouting, then bombing, explosions, drones, jets cutting the sky to pieces. All mixed, so I can't and don't concentrate on any one sound. In the dark, in the supposedly complete silence, while lying down with eyes closed, I start to focus more on the sounds surrounding me. The flapping of the plastic sheet on our smashed window, the breathing and sighing of my mother beside me, my heartbeats, the squeak of the field cockroaches, the sound of a bird back late to his nest, a baby crying at the nearby neighbour's home, the swish of branches in the trees, the whoop of an owl coming from the distance, street dogs barking and getting crazy when bombs happen. All those sounds mean life, mean tomorrow will come, despite everything. But now other sounds are coming, making all other sounds vanish, occupying the air and the atmosphere, invading the silence, saying, death is coming. The sound of the military drone. The only similar sound is the electric shaving machine, doubled 100 times, filling the space. Every living creature is obliged to hear it at all times. Humans, animals, birds, trees, even stones will crack out of the madness the sound causes. The passing military aeroplanes, F-15, F-16, F-32, F I don't know what, cutting the sky like a knife, carrying death wherever they go. The sound of the artillery shelling, boom. Each shell makes 3 sounds, starting huge and echoing out 3 times. The sound of the rocket strike is very loud, very sharp. If you hear it, then you're alive. It is so fast that if it hits you, you won't hear it. Anyone in Gaza who hears the rocket immediately knows that it has hit some other people, leaving death and destruction behind it. We all know that by experience through several wars against Gaza. Sitting in the dark, trying to ignore the loud sounds of death and concentrate on the little life sounds. Not easy, but this is my way to pass the night, hoping to overcome the insomnia for a few hours.
Struck me the most when we spoke was she said, I just want to be a poet. I don't want to be a political poet, I just want to write poetry. This is my poem Children, which was translated by the Scottish poetess and playwright Liz Long. It's called Children. Whenever I see the image of a child's hand sticking out from the rubble of a collapsed building, I check the hands of my 3 children. I count the fingers of their hands, the toes of their feet. I check the number of teeth in their mouths, every last hair in each finely marked tweed eyebrow. Whenever a child goes silent in our young camp, I turn up the volume on the TV, the songs on the radio. I pinch my 3 children to make them cry and squirm with life. Whenever my sore heart gets hungry at Colombia checkpoint, I comfort it. I emotionally agree to craving excessive salt, as if I could then somehow say enough, block out the salted sparks of the tears around me. Everyone else is crying. This is Hassan's diary.
This is the final reading from diary, November the 3rd, and it's just called 4 p.m. Yesterday, the Israelis bombed a neighborhood inside Jabalia camp, a whole block, Block 6, Jabalia camp. 1 kilometre square with 115,000 inhabitants, the most densely populated spot on Earth. 400 people killed and injured in a blink of an eye. 400 people vanished in 1 shot. Hundreds of injured, no hospital has the capacity to treat them. It was 4 p.m. when the Israeli Air Force struck with 6 explosive missiles. 400 people of all ages, fetuses in the bellies of their mothers, breastfeeding babies, boys and girls, teenagers, men and women, elderly people and disabled people. A whole community disappeared just like that, because someone in Israel believed he could do it. My family around me were talking all the time. I was the only one who said nothing. What can be said in such a situation? What words could express what I feel? I left and went up to my room. In my mattress, I lay down, closed my eyes, tears on my cheeks. Suddenly, I am there, in that neighbourhood just a few minutes before the strike. I'm walking in the narrow streets of the camp, lots of children playing, men, women passing by. I walk and look at these poor houses, houses that were built 71 years ago by UNRWA for Palestinian refugees who were obliged to leave their houses in their homeland, in what is now Israel. I stop and open the first door. I enter. I am invisible. People inside their home don't see me. A front yard, a middle-aged woman beside a small gas cooker with a pot on it, cooking cabbage. A warm smile. 3 children playing around her, a 7-year-old girl with a dog, and 2 older boys running after each other, with the mother calling for them to be quiet. On the other side of the yard, a younger woman is washing clothes in 3 buckets, one with soap and the other 2 with clean water. In the corner of the front yard, a small outside toilet. A tall man of about 40 comes out. How long until we eat? 10 minutes, the woman answers. Did you get the medicine for your father? She asks. I will get it out for lunch. It is not 4 yet. He moves inside the home and I follow. Inside a living room and 2 small rooms on both sides. In the living room, a line of mattresses rise up against each other. An old man lying down, 4 young men in a corner playing cards. The tall man continues into one of the rooms inside. A cradle with a baby sleeping. He enters quietly so the baby does not wake. He changes his shirt, puts on some deodorant, then moves to the second room where 4 men are asleep. Food in 10 minutes. Get up. 2 stir lazily. The other 2 act as if they don't hear. Come on, all of you. It's 5 to 4. One of them answers, but we only just fell asleep. Bombing and explosions all night, all day. As he passes through the living room, the old man asks him, did you bring my asthma medicine? I should take it after lunch, not later than 4 o'clock. Not yet, the man answers. I'll go to the pharmacy straight after lunch. I promise I won't be much later than 4 o'clock. I promise. Tick-tock, tick-tock. Tick-tock, boom.
I put our child to bed. I put our child to bed tonight. I told her I loved her and tucked her up safe. I did not write her name or our names of mobile numbers on her arms and legs, or hide her passport under her pillow. I just kissed her head, told her I loved her, and we would always be there. And then I returned downstairs to watch the news. I put our child to bed tonight. I held her tight, scooped her into me the way I do on nights when sleep is hard to find and her mind is overtired. I did not pack some toys and clothes into a small bag light enough for her alone to hold, or cover her ears to mask the screams of carpet holes at night. I just breathed her in, smelt her dust-free hair, and told her that I loved her and that we were here. Then I returned downstairs to make a cup of decaf tea. I put our child to bed tonight. I did not wrap her in a shroud of white cloth or lay her down with her playmates in the broken soil. I did not wear or keen for what her life should mean to others. We just watch the news and drink their tea. I just put our child to bed.
The final reading from us is from the Gazan poet and teacher Rafat al-Ariya, If I Must Die. If I must die, you must live, to tell my story, to sell my things, to buy a piece of cloth and some strings, make it white with a long tail, so that a child somewhere in Gaza, while looking heaven in the eye, awaiting his dad who left in a blaze and bid no one farewell, not even to his flesh, not even to himself, sees the kite, my kite, you made, flying up above, and thinks for a moment, an angel is there, bringing back love. If I must die, let it bring hope, let it be a tale.
Rufat was killed by an Israeli airstrike on Friday, 8th of December, and he was one of the leading generation of the writers in Gaza, and he chose to write in English to tell his stories so that his voice could be heard more widely.
Rufat al-Ariya was a professor of English literature at the Islamic University of Gaza, where he taught Shakespeare and much else.
As we embrace a spirit of tranquility in our service, Teo, accompanied by Brigitte and the organ, will perform Be Still and Listen by Carl Oak, a piece that beautifully captures the essence of inner peace and reflection.
Sometimes I feel so lonely. Sometimes I feel so blue. Sometimes my heart's near breaking. Oh Lord, what shall I do? I woke up this morning. I hate to face the day, but then I
Helen Marks, who will talk about how Jews and Palestinians have coexisted in the past.
First of all, Phil, I would like to thank you. I'd like to thank you for organising this service, because it was an act of compassion. It was a humane response to a horrible situation. And that's what we've been lacking. And I wonder too whether Phil's reaction to organise this service was also a feeling that he had to show leadership, because that's what we've been lacking. We've been lacking leadership from people who can show compassion. We haven't had it from our politicians, but we have had it from Phil. So thank you. I'm changing the subject of my talk. I hope Phil will forgive me. Instead, I'm going to focus on my own Jewish background, and also to think about what pointers are there that show that a country is moving towards peace, or what indications are there that it's moving away from peace. So I'll talk a little bit about my own family. My mother, now deceased, was brought up in Palestine when it was run by the British, and her relatives were heavily involved in the purchase of land for the state that they planned to establish for the Jews. My father, who was from a Jewish family in Poland, lost his parents, brothers, aunts, uncles, cousins in the Holocaust. He was saved because he was studying medicine in Rome at the time. I think it's important to talk about my Jewish background in order to break up the very powerful myth that all Jews support the actions of the Israeli government, and that being critical of Israel is to be anti-Semitic. You may not be aware that the chief rabbi only represents the Orthodox wing of Judaism, who make up around 40% of Jews in this country, and the rest belong to Reform or Liberal synagogues, or are not religious, but their identity culturally is very much within the Jewish tradition. This is a quote from a letter my mother's grandfather wrote to his parents. I found it amongst my mother's papers, and it was so moving, and told about the dreams that Jews had for this safety in a new world. Dear parents, tomorrow I leave Russia. I rejoice in my heart, leaving this jail for Jews, this medieval ghetto. Tomorrow I shall be transformed from a slave into a free man, from an oppressed creature into an independent being. My mother's grandfather was in the first group of 9 men who landed in Jaffa in 1884 and ended up in the small town of Gadara, south of Tel Aviv. They came with a donkey and a few tools. I visited Gadara. It's still there, it's not quite a little village anymore. How sad, as I was reading this paper, I thought, how sad that he had this dream of freedom that I feel has turned sour by the political pressure of Zionism, whose goal was to take control of the wall of Palestine from the river to the sea. I would like to quote you now from a lecture by Yitzhak Epstein delivered to the 7th Congress in Basel in 1905, and I want to read this out to you, perhaps to give you an idea of why this dream hasn't really come to be. This is the quote. Of all the issues regarding the rebirth of our people, the one issue outweighs them all: our relation with the Arabs. We must stop pretending Palestine is an empty, barren land, when there are about 500,000 Arabs there who are arable farmers. What will the Arab peasant do when we buy their lands from them? At a time when we are feeling the loss of homeland, we are forgetting that people who live there now, also have a sensitive heart and a loving soul. The Arab, like any man, has a strong bond with his homeland. We must not uproot people from land that they and their forefathers dedicated their best efforts and toil.
Thank you so much for hosting this service. It's really nice to be in a new, different environment when it comes to talking about Palestine. And it's nice to see the coexistence. We see, faith leaders getting involved and obviously wanting to spread that message of peace. So thank you so much for that. So the thing about being a Palestinian, which if you haven't met me, I am a Palestinian. I was born and raised in Liverpool. But the one thing that inspires me and strikes me as really important about ourselves is the will, the love, the faith in God that we all have, and we pride ourselves in it. Palestinians are going through the most traumatic time in history. They're going through a genocide. I mean, I don't have to, I feel like I'm preaching here to people that already know what's going on. But they're going through an ethnic cleansing, they're going through a genocide. Children are burying their parents are burying their children, and they're all heartbroken, they're all distraught. But there's one phrase they always say, which is one phrase you always hear, and it's Alhamdulillah, which means thanks to God. It's not a Muslim phrase, it just literally means thanks to God. So, when they're watching their parents under rubble, their family members under rubble, all you can hear them say is Alhamdulillah, 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 thanks to God, thanks to God, thanks to God. Because they're happy that their family members, their friends have returned back to their Lord. And that way they're at peace, they're protected, they're in his arms. The faith in God, as I said, that our brothers and sisters of Palestine carry has no bounds, and they know this because God is their witness to what happens. The massacre happening in Palestine is affecting all Palestinians, regardless of religion. Mosques and churches are being destroyed. I mean, it's just been Christmas. We were celebrating the birth of a Palestinian man. Yeah. But they weren't allowed to celebrate it peacefully. There was no joy. Even, my family and friends, no joy at all in celebrating such a sacred time of the year. But how can we when the churches are being destroyed? People are still looking for their family members under the rubble. It's just something that you can't do. Palestinians, like I said, can even celebrate that period. What happened to coexistence? Palestine is known to be the Holy Land. It's known to be the land of love, the land of friendship, the land of culture, the land of forgiveness, the land of history, and the land of faith. But now when I ask somebody, what do you think of Palestine, or what do you know about Palestine, they tell me it's the land of death, war, and destruction. Can you see the difference? What Palestine is supposed to be, what it's supposed to stand for, and the image of it now, but even more so 75 plus years ago, but more than time now. When I tell someone I'm from Palestine, they don't look at me and go, oh, Pakistan, they look at me and go, Israel, war, destruction. And we don't want to be known for that. We want to be known for our love, our friendship, our kindness. Those that have been to Palestine can vouch for what I'm saying. because it's true, the kindness has no bounds. I always pray for peace, but that's subjective. What is praying for peace? And I know it feels good to say it. I pray for the peace of the Palestinians. I pray for no war. But it's quite a safe and neutral stance to take on the violence. It's happening thousands of miles away, but what is peace really? Is it for Palestinians to submit to their oppression? Is it for them to make tea for the settlers? Is it for them to let the settlers just steal the food, say, oh, I'll take it, I'm happy because I'm just living in some peace here? It's not, is it? Is it to accept their place as a second-class citizen on their own land? Is it to smile as they are brutalised while they're trying to live somewhat of a steam balance of a normal life? Do you really want peace for all? Or do you want Palestinians to fall into submission to their oppressor? What is peace? Well, peace without justice is tyranny, and that's one thing that we should all be pushing for, and we all are pushing for, but we need to push a bit harder. I can see the momentum dying down. I can see less people at these protests every weekend. We could just never forget what's going on in Palestine, because none of us have the ounce of bravery, dignity that those people in Palestine have. And I just pray to God, to all gods, that we have our Palestine back. And like I always say, from the river to the sea, however long it takes, Palestine will always be free. Thank you so much.